Take a look at this, would you? I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's no 4Runner in there. So you might notice that we have tires on, and we might even be driving this, but basically this video we're gonna kind of dive back into finishing up the control arms, the CV axles go in, and the upper control arms, and how much time I wasted in the last video by trying to fix all the bushings, because you cannot just go back with stock suspension after you put stock control arms after you put a 3-inch lift on it. So let's jump into it. We'll start installing the rest of this stuff, and then as you can see, spoiler alert, I am daily driving it now, so it doesn't break. But yeah, let's hop into it. All right, so the lower control arm bushings that I had to cut out, well, the pin is still in there, and I am not able to drive it out with the ball joint press or anything like that. They are freaking seized. So a friend of mine taught me this trick. We're gonna try it out today. It is probably one of the best rust breaker downers you can get, but you have to make it. It is used transmission fluid mixed with acetone. So one more note on energy suspension bushings, you have to reuse the sleeves for the lower control arms as well. This sucks. So today we're gonna clean these. Add another 2 hours to this job. Unless you're just dead set on energy suspension, go with a different kit for the control arms. The rest of the bushings might be good for the rest of the car, but it is not worth it for the control arms. This is ridiculous. I mean, I think you can get like white line for $100 for a set for the bottom, another 100 for the top, 200, and you just slide it in and you're done, and you saved yourself, I don't know, 6 hours of labor. Unless you are somehow able to get the bushing out without getting the sleeve out, but when the vehicle's 25 years old with 300,000 miles, it's kind of hard to do. All right, so these are all clean and ready to go, and it took me probably 2 or 3 hours to get these cleaned up. I got all the rubber melted out, and then had to clean these up so we can slide them in here. And it's way too much work. You shouldn't have to do that, but I should have done a little more research on the bushing kit before I got it. So really, that's on me. All right, that's too easy. We're gonna go with a different one in here. So one of the things you have to reuse is this pin with this washer. I forget what it's called. And it actually comes like this. All right, that's what holds your bushing in. And you actually have to grind off a little edge in there to be able to take this off. All right, take it off. Then you have to take that little edge and beat it flat so that you can get the washer back on, and then you basically have to get a large marble, not a marble, but like a curved surface to put in there, and you hit it with a hammer, and it flares it back out and locks that washer down in. Again, I would not have chosen this bushing kit had I known this ahead of time, which is probably my fault. Should have done more digging, but here's what it is. All right, so now I'm gonna get all this greasy stuff on everything. Dude, there's people, so our road is a dead-end street, but Google Maps thinks that it is not a dead-end street. And so like delivery drivers, and every now and then a soccer mom will come into our driveway and turn around, and I always get excited because I think I'm getting a package, and then I'm not getting a package. It is not car parts, it's just some bozo turning around. They're not a bozo, they're just following their maps, so. But every now and then get like loud engine noises, and I'm like, ooh, it's the delivery man, we got a package. And then it is not, in fact, the delivery man. All right, I actually need a press for that one. Probably this one too. Okay, yeah, definitely need the press. All right, I don't want to get this grease on everything, so we're gonna take these bolts back off. All right, those are in. Now I gotta get them silly cap washers on, which actually means I'm gonna have to do a little bit different pressing. And to do some more pressing. All right, I think I got something. Once we get a washer on here, I'll be able to put this 10mm in there, and I think it'll flare it out enough. This is not enjoyable anymore. This grease is getting everywhere. This is miserable. Okay, I got it on there, but I've got to lock it on. But it's like I need to press it more on. All right, this is not exactly what you dream about, but I am squeezing together the bushing and have this little washer right on the edge to where it's ready to be flared out to hold that nut in there, or the washer, I guess. Okay, but I can't get a hammer in there, so I'm doing all of this janky mess. Not exactly what you're supposed to do. All right, let's see how it worked. Oh yeah, that worked nicely. This is the janky setup. Now, for one more. Ah, jeez. All right. That control arm is done somehow. Actually, I think these bump stops need to be changed. Now it sucks because there's going to be like white sticky grease everywhere, like on literally everything. Ugh, it's so annoying. All right, let's see. Pop this washer in here, and I reckon get this bolt started. Please be the same threads. Hey, hey, hey. I think I should do it the other way. Does that make sense? No, because then that's going to be hanging out. It makes sense to be like that, but no, this makes more sense. Oh, that's kind of janky. It like hangs over this edge right here. The more loud noises you make, the more manly you are. That's what I've been told. Now I have a bunch of shiny new red things sitting on my truck for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and do the other one, because this is very easy and I have these bolts and nuts out before I get too ahead of myself and then get everything confused. All right, we went and got these toxic things from the waste basket. No, the transmission fluid mixed with acetone. We're gonna pop these in a press and see if we can extract these things now. Swapped up my attachments a little bit, see if maybe this will do something. All right, I'm actually going to sacrifice a socket this 1/2 inch. This could absolutely murder the socket, but I think this is our best bet at this point. I'm going to change sockets. I'm going slightly bigger. Oh, that is like burnt rust on there. It's getting hot. All right, sacrifice another one in the name of freaking energy suspension bushings. It wasn't quite out, so I had to go get the other 13 to get a little more distance to poke it all the way through. There we go. Now one more. Oh, gee. Eesh. Nailed it. Dang, that's crazy. But we got it. Whew, now the hard work. All right, so we got the lower control arm on the driver's side. We're gonna start going in with it. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of keep putting things on little by little until one day I might crank it. Actually, I really think I can crank it now, which makes me really excited. But I need to bleed the whole power steering fluid and then put coolant in it and all that. And it's also on Harbor Freight jack stand, so I don't really want to crank it when there's no wheels on it on the front, you know, just to be safe. So here's us gonna go ahead and put it on the lower control arms. So I'm gonna hang the lower control arm from this shock and then see if I can kind of swing it up and maybe use a jack to kind of pry it in there. It's not quite fitting. It's extremely close, but I'm gonna have to do some finagling. Oh no. Oh, the freaking power steering pump is in the way. Got to be kidding me. Oh, that's so dumb. 4 steps back, 1 step forward. All right, we got that one in. Sadly, I had to take the power steering pump, or the power steering rack off almost completely. But we got those in. I had pictures of where those were at last time, so we're good there. Now I'm gonna get these in, and yeah, so here we go. So I got out all of these, I don't know what these are, alignment bolts, but I need to have anti-seize coated all over them because I had to cut one of them out because they were seized up. In typical project fashion, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I have actually already completely installed these in the front and then was like, crap. I did not even put any anti-seize on those things. Try my best not to get it everywhere. Just cover that up for now. I'll do the other one and then put anti-seize there and then get them on. Actually, I'll probably go ahead and anti-seize this one and put it on because this one's on the front. The back one is a pain in the butt because the power steering rack is in the way. So it's just miserable trying to get it out. Just had this kind of hold me, make sure the control arm didn't fall out. Aha! Wow, that went a lot smoother than expected. Alright, those control arms are an absolute pain in the butt. I actually ended up ripping the boot on that new power steering rack, so it kind of ticks me off, but such is life, I guess. Alright, what's next? CV axle, spindle, upper control arm. There we go. Had to get that washer down. That's what was causing all the problems. Well, majority of the problems. All right, these are 85 foot-pounds, so Let me go get a torque wrench and another socket. I feel like every time I have to torque something, it's always like right between my two torque wrenches. The other one was right at the max, but this one's at least kind of in the middle. That's what you want for maximum accuracy, is right in the middle range of the torque wrench. But these are also plus or minus like 15% or something, so it's not very accurate at all. There we go. Now I probably won't be able to move this. Oh no, perfect. That's what I like to see. So I was getting really nervous because I was about to put on the lower ball joint and I was like, crap, I don't know where those bolts are, but not to worry. I found them in a bag labeled where I put all the labeled stuff. So go me, because this was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I'm in the overalls today, so there's a high possibility that as I drop sockets in these pockets, I will forget about them and be very angry when I can't find them later. All right, I don't know what I need to torque these to. I should probably look that up. All right, now that I got the control arms on, I'm gonna put the power steering rack back on, because that's just kind of hanging here. Yeah, because the lower control arms, I had to move the power steering rack to get those bolts in on the back side of it. So now we're gonna put the power steering rack on. All right, now back with this. Oh, let me a little grease to put there to kind of help seal that off. So the only thing I don't like about full droop is this is digging into my coils, and I really need to lift those arms up, but you just can't. So, all right, let's see. Let me look at the other side real quick. So this is pretty annoying, but the other side, because I have this 3-inch lift, at full droop, the upper control arm actually hits the coils, which is horrible, but it also makes it very difficult to get all the ball joints on. And so what I'm gonna have to do is, I was barely able to get this side on by having these threads loosened and these threads loosened, and I can kind of meet in the middle. I'm gonna have to put the tire on this side and then use a jack on the other side to lift up that whole lower control arm, because when I tried to lift it with the jack as it is now, it just started lifting the whole 4Runner off the jack stands, which is obviously not safe. So oh gosh, that's not, just not good. You know, I have an idea. Still not high enough? Oh my. Oh gosh. Apparently, with the lift the vehicle, I need bigger everything. All right, so here's my sketchy plan. I'm gonna slowly lower it down till I can tighten that up. Oh, I don't like this. I'm gonna go very slow. Try to be careful with it. What I don't want is it to flip off the other side. I really don't like this, but I'm gonna put the other tire on as well. Very gently lower it down. I'm not gonna like drop it to the floor or anything, and tighten up these ball joints and then raise it back up and do the rest of it. That's the only thing I can think of to, get these things on. So that's what, I don't like it, but that's what we're gonna have to do. All right, let's go down very slow. Easy. Woo. Oop, that's not good. All right, back to some sketchy stuff. I used this jack to lift up that front control arm until I could get that lower ball joint tightened. Now I'm gonna lower it back a lot further and see if I can get the top joints, top ball joints tightened. This is, like, surely I'm doing something wrong, so by the time I post this, it'll be a long time past, but if you know how to do this better, please let me know, because I do not enjoy this. There's got to be a different way. Because I do not believe this is how it's supposed to be done. All right, slow and steady. All right, well now it is sitting on its own wheels, which is exciting, but also terrifying. So even when it's resting on the ground, them spindles are still touching the shocks. I don't like that at all. I mean, that ball joint is like, that is not good. Dude, I tell you, that's a buttload of crap right there. An absolute buttload of crap. Yeah, that just does not look right. I wonder if I like mixed up the spindles or something. Did I mix up the spindles? So I need to replace the CV axle. The old one just ripped clean out of, it just ripped in half, I guess. So I need to get in there and pry this whole thing out. I'll put a catch pan down there for some of the differential fluid, gear oil, whatnot that might come out. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. So the designs are a little bit different, which has me slightly worried, but the distance from this flat edge to the end and this flat edge to the end are the same. So I think we're gonna be okay. We'll go ahead and try to put this in, and hopefully it goes well. I'll get the other part of that and then measure in the end and see. But this is a long travel CV axle, since I do have a 3-inch lift. It came with the rough country 3-inch lift, and I just didn't feel like messing with it to take it off. I do not like the rough country lift, but it is what it is. All right, there's the splines. Man, that was probably easier than it needed to be, but I guess I shouldn't complain. So I decided to go with new upper control arms. After I got everything attached, The angles were horrible. The upper ball joints looked like they were already about to snap off. The lower ball joints weren't at a great angle, but I think that's because they had the caster not really all the way out. So anyways, I went with Freedom Off-Road, upper control arms. We're gonna slap these on, and we're really close to done. We started it last night. These came in today. So we're gonna pop the tires off, put these back on, see if we can get all the angles. All right, the bummer is I bought these brand new ball joints, and now I'm gonna have to press them out because the new upper control arms came with ball joints and bushings. So I wasted a lot of time, and money. You live and you learn. You live and you learn. I'm gonna kind of try to save this. Got this little wire off. Now I've gotta get that snap ring off. I need good snap ring pliers. I don't know why I have not invested any. All right, this one should do better. All right, one thing I never saw in any videos with the Freedom Off-Road was it comes with this little thing and this little thing. So I'm assuming this part goes in the knuckle. And I assume that this part goes on this bottom side for the nut. It's got to. So that makes any sense. Just take off the other upper control arm. All right, that's on. Now I just gotta make sure I torque everything down. Gotta re-tighten the, well, hey look. I put the steering rack back on, put the sway bar and link back on. I need to torque that, and then torque the lower ball joint, and we'll be good to go on that side. So that is exciting. We just gotta repeat on the other side. We are getting very, very close now. All right, so now to the power steering rack. I got these lines hooked up. If you're hooking up these lines, it's easiest to take this bolt off, or this nut, excuse me, and then there's a bolt here, but you have to get to it from up here. And if you take your sway bar links off, you can move this. This makes it a lot easier. And then you slide this out, and you can get to these little flare fittings. With a open end wrench or a flare nut wrench, whichever you prefer, preferably a flare nut wrench. Anyways, we're gonna get this going. It's hooked up, need to bolt it on, changing a bushing out down there that came with the kit. Yeah, so this is just that. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try to get this bolt out because I think there's some bushings in here that I can replace. Oh, this is tedious. No, it's not so bad. This is a whole new steering rack, so I think it might have come with new bushings, so we might just only replace that one over there. I know it came with no bushings here, so we're not replacing those, even though they came in the kit. All right, those are new too, so we're actually just gonna keep those. We are going to replace this one over here though. Oh no, there's a difference. I always do something wrong. If you're not doing something wrong, and try. At least that's what I tell myself, because I do things wrong all the time. That should be poking through further. Oh, I can't get this bolt in. It's like a flare back here that I can't quite. Okay, what the, does this even go here? Go over there? Ugh. Okay, I did have it right the first time, so that's a little frustrating. Okay, something is still not adding up. So I finally got the top one. I just hit it with the Ugga Dugga until it finally gave way. And then now I got this bottom one. And once I'm done with it, I can move over to the middle one and that one over there. So let's go get the middle one. Oh man, I don't know what it is. It's like these self-tapping screws and they're just locking up everywhere. They're not getting cross-threaded. It's just, ugh. Horrible. Alright, get that one snug. Alright, my suspicions were correct. If I got the two side ones, this middle one would go in a lot easier. Oh yeah, that's way better. Alright, I think. Power steering rack is attached. Now I just got to get the actual, this. There we go. This was causing me problems earlier, but now that this is all aligned, I can go ahead and start messing with this, try to get it going, I guess. I guess just a note, if you are doing this, you have to take this little bolt out before it'll slide down, but now, yeah, no problem. All right, I have tightened those two bolts, that one and that one, so the power steering rack is connected. The liner hooked up, it's bolted on. The power steering rack is done. Now, I might start mounting control arms again. Sounds terrible, but I need to do it. I usually keep it cleaner, don't worry. I had a friend who needed some boat engine help, so he backed it in here and we fixed it, and it was late at night on a Sunday, and so we had to kind of leave quickly, and so that's why all the tools and stuff are still out. But the 4Runner is done. By done, I mean I can now use it to like drive to work and stuff, and I'm dying to take it overlanding, but that might be a little further down the road because we have a newborn, and I'm not sure when you can start sleeping newborns in tents outside, but we'll probably find out. But anyways, some things I didn't show on the camera was we replaced all the brakes, and it was a very irritating day, so I didn't really film anything. But basically the drum brakes were so rusted up, when I got the drums off, everything exploded into a pile of dust and rust, and it was terrible. So I ordered total new drum brake kits for the back, and I upgraded to the Tundra brake calipers in the front, which only required me to snip a little bit of the dust shields off so I could fit those calipers in there. I think that's pretty much all that happened off camera. I replaced the rear diff fluid. Oh, I actually videoed that, but it'll probably come out in a short because it was only like 2 minutes long to do that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in, and catch us on the next one for who knows what we're gonna be doing, whether it's 4Runner or something boat related, or who knows. Maybe I'll start finally rebuilding those Mercruiser 4.3s over there. Either way, it'll be a good time. We'll catch you on the next one.